And today's episode will be all about wellness and what else?
Wellness, balance, everything for us to be our greatest, most most energetic and healthiest selves. But before we start, I told Marina earlier, we talked a little bit before, and I told her that I really wanted to mention something because we are called the Mindfulmess after all. And as much as we want to be super mindful and relaxed and, meditate and do affirmations, like sometimes life happens. And for me, life happened earlier, like 2 hours ago, when I knew that we had to film this episode. And at the same time, like a lot of things started coming up and people calling and things that needed to get sorted. And I just got in this really like tense state and I started, swearing, which I don't do very often anymore. I used to do it a lot, but I don't do it anymore that often. So I was swearing, I was getting so anxious, sweating and everything. And then I had to like pause and be like, okay, you can't go in the podcast with this energy, like better. You have to ground yourself, you have to breathe, and you have to let it go and think of the solution. I don't know, Marina, if you can relate to this, but I a lot of the times dwell on the problem and don't think about the solution that fast. Like I'd rather dwell and think about it and complain until I actually get my butt up and start trying to solve it, So
yeah, sorry. No, I just wanted to say that I do the same, so I can totally relate.
Yeah, and it got me thinking because when I went to Tony Robbins' event, one of the first things he said, he was like, do you all like surprises? And everyone was like, yay, we love surprises. And then he was like, that's bullshit. You only like the good surprises. The bad surprises you call problems. And that's the thing. Like we love the nice surprises, but life is full of surprises and they're not always fun. And sometimes they hit you in the most uncomfortable situations, but it's how you deal with those problems that makes the biggest difference. Is your mental state. And that's why I think it's so important to practice, having a good mindset and being relaxed and being balanced when things are good. So when things get tough or complicated, you can, still keep on going and have that strength, resilience, and not go crazy. But it's a work in progress, right? We're all a work in progress.
Yes, absolutely. And it's exactly what you said about mindset, because I discovered that with myself, because I relate totally with what you said. And when there were problems coming in, I was always like, okay, the problem. And I was like putting so much energy into it, in this problem, and making it so big. But I would never think about, okay, well, what's the actual solution? Like, what should I actually do? And then when I shifted my mindset, it all became a bit more clear.
So I thought that was interesting to mention because we're not perfect, nor do we pretend to be. And we get situations and we're just working on finding a way not to freak out too much. And when we do freak out, get back to center and, be like, is this worth my energy? Because sometimes it's not worth the energy, like actually wasting that energy and getting pissed off for something that is so small.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, like you're wasting the energy, but also you're creating more negative energy. Exactly. And that has a longer impact on your day or week or month or whatever. So just like, it's better to have your venting time, like just take everything out, but then try to find a solution and try to actually like your mindset to be more open and more like, okay, I'm not taking all this energy with me.
When things get tough, I can, be calm and just sort it out.
Absolutely. And, I think we get there also with our wellness routines, so we can get into that. So I think being there in that state and knowing exactly and trusting our intuition also has to do with what we eat, how we do sport. So maybe you can tell us more about that because you're doing that.
Yeah. So for me, that's key. And it's been in my life since forever. I was born in a family where this was a central thing. And I've had my own journey with health and wellness, with exercise, and I've had my ups and my downs since I was a teenager. And I've experimented with a lot of things, from diets, the craziest ones you can think of, to not eating, right? I think unfortunately, a lot of girls and guys, they think that the key is to starve yourself, and it's not. And then, starving and binging and being, raw vegan, which I love vegan food, but I was always taking things very, very to the extreme and not doing it the right way, and over exercising, under exercising, like just doing all these crazy things when things are quite simple. I mean, they're not always easy to implement, but they're quite simple. So I think for me, it was just to get to a point, and this actually happened in quarantine, because I finally had the space and the time to take care of myself properly and really, I mean, get into that flow and work on myself. Because, you know, I'm also like a certified personal trainer. Did you know that, Marina? I think you do.
Yeah,
Right?
I did.
Like, I'm a personal trainer. Like, I know the things in theory very well, but when it comes to applying it, I struggled, because I think I was also not very in tune with myself. And the things I was doing, I wasn't doing them because I was loving myself. I was doing them because I was hating myself. And I thought that, you know, I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not toned enough, so I'm just gonna go and, you know, work out super hard in the gym and starve myself, and maybe then I'm gonna be the perfect person that I can love. And that's not where it's at. And I'm grateful for my sister that when we started quarantine, and I would, you know, I lost quite a bit of weight in quarantine, but at the beginning of quarantine, I would look in the mirror and my sister was next to me, and I would be like, I look disgusting, you know? And she was like, stop saying that to yourself. We've been down this road before, and you know very well that you're gonna lose the weight, and then you're still gonna hate yourself, and you're still gonna say you look disgusting, and you're never gonna end up anywhere. It's because it's about loving and accepting what you see right now, and then working on a better version of yourself from that place of love and self-acceptance. And it's not easy, but it's just a practice. And when you are from that space, every decision you make is for your best interest. Everything you put in your body, you know, everything you drink, everything you eat, the rest that you give yourself, the way you exercise, you do it from a different side, from a different perspective. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. And you know, I relate to what you said, because my journey with, like, say, wellness and health and like healthy diet was also a bumpy one. I think for me, what happened is that I wasn't really like alternating between like a weight necessarily. So I didn't really care, but I would, in high school especially, I would eat all types of junk food. I didn't really care about what I was eating. And there was a moment at one point that I was like, okay, you know, I don't like how I look. And then I went to this extreme of not really eating. It was a summer at one point, not really eating, just going out, just forgetting to eat. And I lost a lot of weight and I was very happy. But then I figured that, well, no, because I wasn't eating. So when I'm going to start eating again, then I'm going to get like put on weight. And I think that was very alarming for me somehow. And then going into university was kind of the same thing. I was eating healthy at that point, but I wasn't happy with where I was. And like you said, for me in this quarantine, it all changed, because I was like, I have time for myself now, right? I have time to cook. I have time to do exercise. And so before, I hated the gym. All of my friends can say, they're like, do you want to go to the gym? It's like, no, I hate the gym. I'm not going to the gym. I wasn't in a gym until university, where my friends literally took me to a gym. I used to play sports, but like tennis, I wasn't, you know, like I was no gym for me. And now I'm doing weights training. So, you know, it's a complete process.
But I love, the thing is, I've never been a sporty child, although my dad tried to really make me a sporty. My dad is very sporty. So he always tried to make me, you know, he put me in every kind of sport. And I think because I'm a very rebellious person, I on purpose didn't want to do it because he would make me do it. So I never really got into sports until I was in high school and I started doing athletics in England. And I really got like I started getting the taste for sports, you know, and I was training, you know, I was doing athletics 3 times a week. And then I was doing, you know, circuit training and weight training with the girls, like, and our like trainer, like our sports instructor. And then I started really getting into it. And then I started, you know, going to the gym and weight training and stuff like that. But at some point, like when I took my gap year and I did get my personal trainer certification, at that point I was going in the extremes, because I would work out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I would never give myself a rest day. I didn't believe in rest days. I think I thought that rest days make you weak, which is, you know, beyond any kind of like science, when science tells you that you need some rest days, like you need to let your muscles recover and stuff like that. So for me, I liked working out, but then it turned into something that was like bringing me a lot of pressure and anxiety. And then when I went to Barcelona, I still worked out, but I was binging so much on junk food that I never allowed myself to have before, because I was very, very, very strict. And that's kind of how my whole lifestyle changed. Plus, you know, the alcohol drinking in university and partying and not getting enough sleep and not taking care of yourself, like that all adds up. And everyone who went to university probably can relate to this, like the lifestyle change when you go to university. But it's just, I think, having a good relationship with exercise as well. And you don't have to go to the gym, by the way. Like, you can run, you can swim, you can go for like long walks or hikes, you can do Pilates, you can do yoga, you can bike. Like, there's, I know, you know, I work with clients right now, and one of my clients, she loves to play this Wii game, you know, like the Wii Sports, and she does like an hour of that, and she like actually burns a lot, and like she sweats and everything, and she's like, I don't want to go to the gym, like I really enjoy doing this every day. And I'm like, okay, do it. Like it's fine by me. Like, you're getting active, you know. So find what you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be weight training, heavy weight lifting. It can even be, you know, 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day, instead of doing like 2 hours once a week and then being done and so sore and not wanting to do it again. Then it's better to do 20 minutes every single day, or 20 to 30 minutes, you know, 5 times, 4 times a week, you know?
Yeah, I'm doing that now. So I'm doing 5 times a week, 25 to 30 minutes of like weight. I mean, weights. I have weights at home. So I'm just saying that I'm doing a bit of weights. I'm not going there really hardcore, you know, but I did that. So I started watching YouTube channels with people like this type of fitness, whatever, YouTubers. And so I started that, and I already saw a lot of improvement, but I wasn't really like, I didn't really change my diet. I wasn't really like careful with what I was eating. I was just doing it. And then at one point I switched, and I was like, you know what? I really want to look good for myself. I really want to feel good in my skin. And so I started changing also my diet, just being a bit more like protein, carbs. Before, you know, I love carbs. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to say it. I love carbs. But, you know, like, I was so afraid to eat a lot of carbs, because everyone is like, oh, you should be afraid of carbs. Carbs are bad. But they're not.
They're not. I agree 100%. And especially when you choose the complex versions. Like, the complex versions are great. I never like, whenever, because as I said, I work with clients, and I help them out with their diet, with their sports, everything. So for me, it's always the balance. It's the protein, it's the healthy carbs, it's the fats, you know, everything together, like the vegetables, like things like that we need. And I think that people are afraid of carbs, but carbs are not the problem, actually. The problem is a caloric surplus. Like, that's it. You know, when you have a caloric surplus and you eat more than you burn, then you gradually gain weight. If you maintain, you know, if you want to maintain your weight, you eat a certain number of calories. You don't have to track your calories. Like, I don't make my clients track their calories. I, you know, give them their plans, and then they have ideas and some gram thingies, so they kind of have an idea. But I don't want them to track their calories. I know what they have to eat, but I don't want to put that extra pressure. But I believe in balance. Like, I would never tell you like cut out all carbs. Like, it doesn't work, and it doesn't work long term, by the way, because you can cut, like, you cannot eat for like 2 months and you're gonna lose weight super fast, but then you're gonna gain it all back, and you're just gonna feel frustrated and have no energy.
I just have a question for you. What do you suggest to people who want to start like this health journey, but they don't know where to begin? Like, how would you advise them? Like, where should they begin?
I think they should get to the basics of things, but they should also put themselves in an environment where they're going to be supported. Like, this is me, for example. Like, the people I work with, I know that number one, they work with me, for example, but then they also have their community. Because I run this thing, like, I run some online challenges, basically, and everyone is in, you know, communities. They're working out together. They're on the group chat and stuff like that. So they're kind of motivating each other. And then when I can take that person, I take them from 0, let's say, and we slowly work together with the basics and develop and build new habits. I think that's where it's at. So I think the easiest way to start is with someone that can support you on it. And if you don't want to do that, then just go with the basics. Start moving more. Start making better eating choices. Go for leaner protein sources. Go for complex carbs. Add more veggies to your diet. Snack healthily and intelligently. Drink more water. Get more rest. Like, these are the basics. If you want to start with the basics, I think these are the basics. When we talk about weight loss, then there needs to be a sort of different approach, I believe, because you really need to start looking at the caloric deficit a little bit as well. Because ultimately, in order to lose weight, you need that caloric deficit. So then I think that's another discussion, and you want to make sure that you're getting enough nutrition, that you're eating enough, maybe supplementing right, just to make sure everything is going the right way and you're not skipping on the energy and you're not feeling like you're gonna pass out, so it's a different thing. But if you want to just start small. Drink more water, more vegetables, complex carbs, lean protein, get enough rest, and get moving. I think this is super easy. And also mindset. Start meditating, start visualizing yourself as a fit, healthy person. I think that is very important, to act as if you are already healthy and fit.